Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hello.
And Tiara.
Hi.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. He's really weird.
Sorry, guys. Sorry for looking at you.
No, I know. It's bizarre and no one likes it. It makes everyone uncomfortable. Please stop. Please stop. This is episode 222, Confirmation. This is the HBO original film starring Kerry Washington, Wendell Pierce, and Greg Kinnear and Jeffrey Wright. Sort of chronicalizing the few days of the Clarence Thomas nomination for the Supreme Court and Anita Hill's testimony that he is a dirtbag. And sort of the political fallout of that, which we thought would be pretty timely considering there is a lot of talk of the Supreme Court, aka the SCOTUS, which you'll probably hear it used as short term on this episode a lot. So I'll start. I had never seen this movie, but it was like a long time sitting on my list of things to watch because I'm a political junkie. So like to watch this was a thing I was really interested in seeing. Yeah, I'm kind of pissed I hadn't watched it before. But the timing of this was very good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I liked the sort of mix of actual historical footage and like actual news footage of the time and stuff like that. It's kind of wild to see like people that are still on the news today. I'm like, wow, Brett Hume is 1,000 years old. But it's kind of cool to kind of mix that. They kind of do the Forrest Gump thing where they have like the actor next to like the real president of the time, like, and it doesn't look terrible.
Right.
But I mean, I thought they did a pretty good job of sort of giving you like enough of the sort of highlights to keep you interested in the facts of the situation. And they gave you like some real humanity to it, like on both sides, right? Even though I think, and I'll say this a lot during this episode, even though I think Clarence Thomas is just a dirty, dirty motherfucker, they even try to give him some level of humanity as well. But I thought Wendell Pierce was fantastic casting as Clarence Thomas. I thought Kerry Washington did a good job as Anita Hill as well. And I thought Greg Kinnear's impression of Joe Biden is amazingly accurate. It's kind of crazy how good it is. Like he's got his voice like down. It's like dead to rights. But also that guy Cam from Modern Family is in it, which is just weird to see him playing that role. Like he's one of the like
that's who that was?
Yeah, the heavyset guy. He's like one of the presidential advisors.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, that was him.
Oh,
I was like, oh, what are you doing here?
Oh, that is him.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to see him in this. But yeah, I thought it was good. They didn't do like a bunch of crazy stunt casting, which I also appreciated, a la The Butler or something like that. But it also does a really good job of digging at the major point, which is why we did it, like the issues of blackness surrounding that situation. And it's like a weird like double-edged sword between Anita Hill and Clarence Thomas and against the Senate as well. So it's a fascinating film. Like if you like politics, I think you'll enjoy it. If you just want to see like aspects of what it is like watching blackness weirdly be weaponized, like against black people and against white people at the same time for very different reasons. It's super interesting. Like, but it's a fascinating thing. And I think people often talk about that situation in the modern era very weirdly when you go back and watch like the details of that. So I enjoyed it though. I'll go to Mike.
I really enjoyed this. Every single person in this movie came here to do a job, and they did it incredibly well. My only issue with casting is the casting of Wendell Pierce, because Wendell Pierce is way too cool of a dude to be playing fucking Clarence Thomas. That's a fucking upgrade, Clarence. Like yeah. Wendell Pierce, who is just a great actor. Yes. And I'm watching it and I'm like, I'm like, why this bitch lying on Wendell Pierce shit? Like, what the fuck,
right.
And
You
it
respect
turns
him
out,
too
no,
much.
right. And it turns out, no, this nigga Wendell Pierce is a fucking playing Clarence Thomas. Like, I had to keep like reminding myself of that because I don't want to see Wendell Pierce as Clarence Thomas.
Right.
But he did get Clarence Thomas's just like weirdness down pat. Like,
he
it was
did.
just like Wendell, like Clarence Thomas does that, yo. Like he looks
does.
around and shit like that. Like he does that, yo.
Like a cuckoo clock. He's just like,
yeah, man.
that's very weird.
Kerry Washington plays Anita Hill incredibly well. Like you can tell everybody really studied their roles, man. I didn't know Clarence Thomas's son was an actor, but apparently he is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently like his real son is an actor.
Jamal?
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, I was like, Jamal. You named him Jamal? Like you don't really like black people though. Like
his wife
His wife
named
definitely
him
did that.
His wife named him Jamal. His name is Clarence, for God's sake.
Clarence.
Right. By the way, that is actually the one casting issue I have is Jeannie Thomas. She didn't play her as batshit insane as Jeannie Thomas actually is in real life. That's my only issue. But I'm not sure we knew that at the time.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knew that at the time. But yeah, man, everything about this is really good. It's one of those movies that it's a very serious movie, but it's also entertaining in like a weird, like, it's like Scandal, but like taken seriously.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which coincidentally, the woman who was the inspiration for Olivia Pope, her character is in this, which is just amusing to me.
Wait, who is the woman?
Judy Smith.
Judy Smith. Yeah, Judy Smith is the inspiration for Olivia Pope.
Really? I didn't know that. Scandal.
That's the real woman's name. I forget the actor who plays her. But yeah, she's in this. Yeah, man. Look, I don't know what else to say. This movie is great. Go watch it.
Tiara, your thoughts?
Okay. I don't think I have a lot to add. I'll say this. So Clarence Thomas was confirmed in 1991. I was born in 1991.
Wow.
So if there is any indication of how impactful a Supreme Court justice nominee is, I feel like I'm like an actual living example of why an appointment can make or break or shape a generation. And now we're seeing someone in his positions 30 years later on the side of an issue that is going to take away a civil right from so many women. So I just kept thinking about that. And then, was thinking about, of course, what's been going on with Roe v. Wade and all that stuff. I agree with both of you, Wendell Pierce, way too good to be playing Clarence Thomas. I always find it interesting when I see Black conservatives like him who come from a poor Black racist background who just completely capitulate to whiteness. And it just makes me wonder, like, at what point in your life do you feel like it's better to side with white supremacy like he does? I mean, there's a scene in here
because a Black person made fun of him. That's all.
Okay.
Probably.
There's a part in this where someone comes up to him. I can't remember, was it Strom Thurmond or someone who comes up to him and like talking about the nomination process, and the way that he just shakes his hand and like invites him in. It's just like, I kept on like seeing Clarence Thomas just like tap dance in my mind, being like, yes, sir, come in, sir. Like, yeah, all that stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it also makes me angry that he was the guy to replace Thurgood Marshall and basically just pull the ladder right from everyone else who can come up after him and just be the exact opposite moral, judicial wise to the person he succeeded. And that part is just disgusting. And then again, like I said, we're here 30 years later and he's still making decisions that are impacting very real lives. I always think, I want something else about this movie is that it's a little depressing to watch this because I had never seen it, knowing what the outcome is. And
right.
Because like usually like you watch these movies and it's like, yay, there's a happy ending. He never got confirmed, but he does.
Oops.
And I mean but also the ending is still kind of a little mostly bitter, but a little bit sweet considering the number of like sexual harassment cases and how people felt like they could actually say something in the workplace.
Also legislation. Also massive legislation that came after that because of it.
So, I mean, there were some wins there. There was another point I wanted to say. Oh, yeah. I was watching this and I was thinking like, boy, if Anita Hill had been a white woman, they would have probably tossed this
They even say it in the movie, right? They say it in the movie. Like,
this is not, we would not be here. Like,
right.
That scene between Jeffrey Wright's character, I want to make sure I get it, Charles Ogletree, and he's Anita Hill's lawyer. That scene between the two of them after she testifies is the best scene in the movie for me. Like, because it lays bare exactly the heart of the matter, right? Which is the like Thomas weaponizing his blackness.
And had nothing to do with the case, but
right. But he weaponizes I shouldn't even say weaponize his blackness. That's not what he did. He weaponized white people's racism against them to insulate himself, right?
Yep.
From his shitty behavior, which is just fucking wild.
Look. I don't know if it's because it was Wendell Pierce.
Like, I get it though.
Look, I mean,
tell us why you agree with Clarence Thomas.
Take look. The strategy is sound.
It is super sound.
It is. Smart.
I mean, the thing is
sound.
I mean, Clarence Thomas is Clarence Thomas is a dirty nigga. He is a cocaine, pubes on a cocaine. He's a dirty motherfucker, but he's not stupid. He's not stupid.
No.
Like, he's not. And like, we often conflate as a society people we don't like with just being stupid. Like, he ain't dumb, yo. Like, he played that shit perfectly. And that's part of the thing I mean about like when people talk about this case now, right? Like, there is definite reasons to be pissed off at Joe Biden and his behavior during that. But I often feel like, yo, I'm not sure anybody wouldn't have done what they did, which was like, we're fucked, because you can't attack Clarence Thomas after that statement. It's a high-tech lynching and be like, now let's go after that nigga tomorrow. You can't. They'd crucify you. Like so they were stuck, but there were plenty of things that they fucked up to get to that point, which is actually totally valid criticisms.
And the fact that he's conservative, like,
you were stuck.
The only people that would criticize that tactic, that conservatives aren't going to do it, right? Because they finally get a chance to be on the dealing end of the race card,
right? Exactly.
Yeah. Nah, bro. So yeah, you were kind of look. I'm not like a Biden stan or whatever, but but yeah,
he's literally done nothing.
Right.
What you gonna do, yo? What you gonna do?
Like, but that's the thing. Is people are like, you could have done something else. Nah, yo, you really couldn't have. No. Like, because like, you know what he did? You know what Joe Biden did? He waited till he became president and put a black woman on the Supreme Court. That's the best he could do. That's the best he could do. Like, they fucked up on those like fundamental things of like, hey, here is, let's change the order of like who goes first. That was a major fuck up on his part. Like, it was a super major fuck up. But that's why he was like, he came out when he ran, was like, I'm gonna put a black woman on the Supreme Court. I'm sorry. I fucked up. Remember 1991? My bad. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. This is why I'm gonna do this. That's exactly what he did. Look, thank you. You still fucked up, but thanks.
I mean, that black woman is going to be on there for like the next 40, 50 years. So
good.
I mean, okay.
I'll take it. Fuck, man. Thank you.
Another point. Yeah. I was going to forgive Greg Kinnear as Joe Biden. God damn that voice.
Yo, he nailed it, yo. He nailed him.
like I'm just sitting there, I'm like, da, 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 da. And I was like, is that Greg Kinnear or what?
Like are they playing audio of Joe Biden?
Yeah. And I like them interweaving the past footage with the film. That was pretty dope. But also like seeing people like Dianne Feinstein, like footage of her, and I'm like, yo, this woman has been.
She been there.
Yo, these people have been in these positions for fucking ever. They've literally been in these positions your entire life.
Yeah, quite literally. Like Dianne Feinstein.
Literally.
I think Dianne Feinstein is like in her mid-80s. And she's
Yo,
like, I'm going to run again. I'm like,
go.
yo, you need to leave. You need to leave.
Yo, it's time for you to go.
Like the whistle has blown. Go sit down.
But again, I just can't help but reiterate, like, this is someone who's been on the court literally my entire life.
Yeah.
And is still making just decisions that are going to affect the next 30 years of my life and your kids' lives. And it's just,
that is
I don't know. It made me more, it just made me more upset again because I listened to y'all talk about Roe v. Wade last week, and I've been pissed for like, pretty much the last 6 years, especially, but just knowing about everything that was on the line and watching this again and just seeing like your vote really matters. It just does, because then you get people like Clarence Thomas on the court who is totally okay with his wife trying to overthrow the country, but is willing to take away your bodily autonomy. And I just,
right,
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. No, I mean, spoiler alert, guys. We're not fans of Clarence Thomas. Shocking news from the podcast. He's a real piece of shit. And so the movie opens up with this sort of all this footage of the Robert Bork nomination, right? This is who they had put up, and that just went disastrously under the Reagan administration. And so the reason why they put that up is like, this was a lesson that they learned, right? Like Robert Bork's nomination was like a watershed moment for conservatives to be like, oh, we got to put up a guy that we absolutely 100% know is going to make it. We can't put up someone who like may or may not make it, right? And the big thing with Robert Bork, just a quick like history lesson, is like, one, he was like A-okay to like get rid of like overturn Roe. Like he was like, hell yeah, let's fucking rock and roll on that shit. But he also wanted to overturn a number of other cases in the Warren and Burger Court, right? So Roe being one of them, Loving versus Virginia being one. Like there's that's why it's interesting to do this movie now, right? Because these same fucking ideas have not changed in the Conservative Party. Like they have been aiming for these things to kill back, even back in 1991 and further back than that. So he was also a part of the Nixon Saturday Night Massacre, which is one of the big reasons why when he came up for nomination, people were like, get the fuck out of here. You were basically trying to corrupt all of politics under Nixon. And they were like, nah, bro, you were Solicitor General during that shit. And so they were like, no. And so his confirmation failed 58-42. So that was just like a big watershed moment for conservatives, which is why they show that. Then we fast forward to the late great Thurgood Marshall announcing that he is retiring, and George H.W. Bush is president at this point, and he's like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to nominate a guy. And it was like, will they pick a black guy or won't they to replace Thurgood Marshall? Do you put another white person on the court, or do you put a black person on? Does that seem like pandering sort of thing? But George H.W. Bush is like, hey, I'll put a black person on the court. I'll put the worst black person on the court. Much like Trump did with Amy Coney Barrett. That's on purpose too, right? Hey, RBG died. Well, let's put the worst, quite literally a part of a fucking cult woman on the Supreme Court to replace her. So,
yeah, let's get their evil doppelganger.
That's all they do. Yeah. they don't actually give a shit about what they believe as long as they believe like one thing.
If you say like, well, this person is super unqualified, it's like so much for the tolerant left. I thought like the only reason that you don't like this person is because they're a woman or they're black. It's kind of like what you said earlier, Micah. Like they are on the dealing end of the race or gender card.
Gender card, yeah, man. Like
dealing it from the bottom of the deck. as
Right.
they say.
Look. I don't
Which
mind
also
playing
show you
the
how
race card
racist
every
they
once in
are.
a while.
What?
I don't mind playing the race card every once in a while. When I play it, it feels great.
Look, you got to use that card. Look. It's our one trump card. We get it every once in a while.
Yeah. That's the problem, right? That's the problem with modern black people. They want to throw that shit around. They want to, they think they got a whole book of race cards, and it's like, you can't cut every hand with the race card, yo. You about to renege, yo. You about to renege. Better get the fuck out of here, yo.
You don't no, you're not gonna run a Boston using the race card. Knock it off.
Well, I think that goes to show you how racist Republicans are, because they think that the only thing we care about is race, and not if someone is actually qualified for the job.
Yeah, I mean that's how they view Ketanji Brown Jackson, right? They only picked her because she's black. Like, no, they wanted to put another person who is a minority on the court, and she's also
like the most qualified.
Yeah, of like all of the Supreme Court justices, like currently, she is the most qualified. Like, she actually clerked for someone on the Supreme Court. Of course.
She had to be. Yep.
Yeah, she can't come in there half-ass drinking 4 Coors Light with a calendar marking your rapes and get in. Not like Brett Kavanaugh. Like, what the fuck?
Like, I still like beer. She can't be like, right. I still like drinking a 40. Like,
yeah, that's not gonna work for a black woman. They're not gonna
imagine if that woman came up there and said, "I like beer."
They'd be like, are you drunk right now? Get your ass off get out of here, beat it.
Or actually, since it's DC, probably being like, I still love going to trap brunches with my friends and eating bottomless.
They're like, ma'am, can you please explain for the Senate what is a trap brunch? Well,
what do you people do at Busboys and Poets?
Like, what don't we do? That's hilarious. I did find it funny that at one point in this like early 2 minutes of old footage, they're showing like, oh, these are the people supporting Clarence Thomas, and one of the people on there is Alan Keyes. Oh, the more you understand about him, the more you'll respect Clarence Thomas. Yo, Alan Keyes is quite literally an insane person. Like, he's an insane person, dude.
Fucking Alan Keyes, fucking Armstrong Williams. I'm just like, yo, they really just scraping the bottom of the fucking black barrel with these niggas, putting these niggas in this movie, yo.
They were really there.
I know.
That shit's crazy, man. Yo, like, they got Pat Buchanan on there at one point. Let me tell you about a man. I'm like, yo, you're a bigot.
He's still alive?
I don't think so. I think he's dead. Which is good. You play Crab Ray for that one. You know, Pat Buchanan was a piece of garbage. So we cut to Anita Hill teaching. I think she's at Oklahoma State.
He's still alive.
Is he? Fuck. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he's only 83. God damn
it. Yeah. All right. Any day now. I think she's teaching at Oklahoma State or something like that, or Oklahoma University, and she's finding out that like Clarence Thomas is up to be nominated for the Supreme Court, and one of her colleagues is like, "Didn't you like work with that piece of shit?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's a piece of shit, like for real." And she's like, "You're not gonna say nothing? Come on now, like." That's why I'm about to fuck your whole life up. Don't listen to her. Going out there. Go ahead. Nah, but help us. But she's like, look, you should say something. She's like, no, because if I say something, then I become the villain, and which is 100% true. Meanwhile, you see weirdo Clarence Thomas like being celebrated by Senator Jack Danforth. And he's like, hey, man, stick with me. I told you we were going to make it. Your mom's going to drag your weird ass up to the Supreme Court eventually. And so, like, the hearings start. And you start to get kind of this feeling that, like, this is inevitable, right? Like, for the most part, this guy's got this shit in the bag, right? There's an easy nomination. Again, white people not really trying to fight against a black nominee. Obviously, this is 1991. They're not really trying to fight against a black nominee like that. That's replacing Thurgood Marshall. Like, they just like, look, just kind of let him have it, right? At this point, Joe Biden is head of the the Judiciary Committee, so he's kind of running the whole thing. You know, Clarence Thomas is literally walked in and greeted by Strom Thurmond of all people. I don't know, man. I don't want to be accepted that much, and I'm glad handing with fucking Strom Thurmond, dude. They're like former segregationists. He's not a former anything. No, yo.
I was like, they're like former. No. I was like, former what now?
No, yo,
former,
he is
like former. No.
Current to the day he died. To the day he died.
So sometimes you think that like history is both long, but is also very, very short, because I'm like, Strom Thurmond has been dead for less than 20 years.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Like a lot of this stuff, a lot of these same folks are just still alive or just died not too long ago. It's insane.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's funny because, you know, people will be like, oh, well, all these senators hang together. Like, yeah, like, I'm pretty sure, like, Joe Biden said some, like, kind words at his funeral, right? I mean, like, whatever, they were colleagues or whatever, but I'd be like, yo, fuck Strom Thurmond. I'm not going to that shit. But, like, that's how white people are, right? Like, it's cool. Don't worry about it. I'm like, this nigga's a segregationist, yo. Like, that's not just a regular GOP bigot. Like, card carrying. It's crazy.
It's more important to be civil, which is just code for being nice to white racist folks and other bigots.
Yeah.
Then this actually just be like, fuck this dude.
Forever.
He lived way too long. He lived 100 years too long.
It was 100, yo.
Yeah.
A whole ass century.
And his views never changed from the beginning of that time all the way to the fucking end.
It's 2003.
Yeah. Except for when he was fucking a black woman and getting her pregnant. But, you know, whatever. I guess his dick wasn't racist. Shocking news. So, you know, they introduce him during the nomination. You see his son Jamal, which I just find it hilarious. That Clarence Thomas's son is named Jamal of all names. But then we see Senator Ted Kennedy's has an investigator on his staff who finds out about Anita Hill and calls her and was like, "Hey, you worked with Clarence Thomas. Like, how was that? Is that cool? Like everything copacetic? No big deal." And she's like, "I don't really want to talk about it, but like I kind of want to talk about it. He was kind of a piece of shit." And so you kind of find out like, oh, like there is a lot more there. And so they start like kind of pursuing it and try to get her to talk more on the record. One of the things that is very interesting in this entire thing is how Ted Kennedy, because he is so mired in like his own sexual history of like banging chicks on the side, literally leaving a woman to die under a bridge, like in Kennebunkport. Like
what?
Yes. Hello? You didn't know? You don't know that story?
No.
Yes. He was sleeping with this other woman, and he got into a car accident in Kennebunkport, Maine, and like he's like a known big time drinker at the time, and he drove off a fucking bridge, and they went into a river, and he just ran away, and she died, and they basically just covered it up. Like the family basically was like, it's not his fault. And then because they were the Kennedys, they kind of got away with it. So like, because of that, like he doesn't speak up for this woman until the end. And he gives this like, what's supposed to be this like rousing, like powerful speech, but it falls so weak to me because knowing that he didn't stand up for this woman that whole time. And like a little known fact, like Ted Kennedy was referred to as the Lion of the Senate, right? It was like when Ted Kennedy spoke, people fucking listened. And he had this opportunity, he could have spoke that whole time, and he didn't until the end, which is interesting. Also, he was played by Treat Williams, which is kind of funny. So fast forwarding, she decides to come forth, and she writes this affidavit that she sends in, and she's like, "Look, I don't want this shit to be public. I'm just sending this shit in. Y'all read it. Like, don't put me in on this shit. I don't want to testify in public. I have no desire to do that." But this gets leaked. And so now Joe Biden is like, well, fuck, we got to bring her in. Fucking subpoena her ass. And so they do.
White people dragging black people down into their fucking mess. I like how like black people have always had this defensive mentality. Because like this woman didn't want to do this, yo. Like she got, I won't say coerced, but she got convinced to, the liberal white feminist did what liberal white feminism usually does. And this makes me sound like some sort of fucking asshole, but
yeah, go ahead, top. Go ahead, brother.
But they use a black woman's plight to further their agenda.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna say that they didn't back her up, but like this woman doesn't have to be the tip of the spear, yo. Right. Like she, especially because she didn't want to do it. Like, and stuff like that. Stuff like that just kind of annoys me, man. Now you can debate all you want as to whether or not Anita Hill had an obligation to do it, no matter what. But yo, if she wanted to mind her fucking business, then I would have let her mind her fucking business.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, right? Because you are. I
would have found another way. I'm not going to upend someone's life,
right,
to further my agenda. Like I'm not going to make somebody else feel uncomfortable. To even if it is for the betterment of mankind, I'm not gonna force somebody to do something that they don't want to do.
I agree with that.
That's literally what we're fighting against. That's
right.
Literally what we're fighting against.
Right, and I agree with that. Largely, I would say that, like, you can't make the woman testify if she doesn't want to testify, right? But from the perspective of knowing that this impropriety happened and then saying nothing, like it's a bit hard, right? Because you are putting you are quite literally putting potentially the lives of women on the altar of not wanting to do no harm to this one person. And I get it, right? And that's what makes it complex. That's what makes it complex.
It should be, in my opinion, it should be that person's prerogative as to whether or not they want to do that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You shouldn't be subpoenaed to have to do it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Would I have done it? Probably, because I want to do the right thing. I'm the type of person, like, I say all this bullshit, like, but like, I want to do the right thing. That's why you don't tell me nothing, because I'm a snitch on your ass if I feel like it's the right thing, right?
Yeah.
But some people are
none of my crimes. Some
people ain't built like that, man. Some people ain't built like that.
No, most people are not. Most people do what is convenient. I mean, what are your thoughts, TR? Besides not telling Micah about your crimes. Do not recommend.
Don't do it. I got loose lips. Anybody that's listened to any podcast that I've been on,
you can't.
Trust me, you have said plenty of times how untrustworthy you are on several different shows.
You tell Mike about a crime that should go end up on air in agreements. Don't do that.
It sure is.
You got to pay $5 to get that evidence.
Or you could, what is it, $50 for the whole year?
Yeah, that's it. That's a deal. Yeah. That's 2 months for free.
If you want to know about my crimes, I will tell Micah, and y'all can just pay $50 to blackmail.
Yeah, that's it.
I agree with you, Micah, to an extent. I don't think I would have wanted to subpoena her either. And I understand that she didn't want to say anything. Completely understand, considering that she even said, like, when she was working at the EEOC, she would see people get railroaded for just speaking against, like, their manager at a diner, and here you are going up against a Supreme Court nominee. So I completely understand that.
And the entire Republican Party, never forget, and the White House,
and the entire, exactly. And I don't know. I'm trying to put myself in her shoes. Like, well, what I have done, because I do feel like, kind of like when she was asked in the hearing, why didn't she say something earlier when she was still working for Clarence Thomas. I don't know what I would have done in a situation. I would like to think I would have said something and just understand that it's going to be my name to be dragged through the mud. But also, if you're going to put me in that kind of position, I want to know what protections that you're going to have for me. Because I think it's already given that your name is going to be put out there, even though they said, "Oh, your name's isn't going to get out." Of course, it's going to get out some way or another.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable.
Yeah, it's just. But I would want to know, like, am I the only person you reached out to? Because the way that this movie is set up, it's set up like at first she was the only person who they contacted until we found out what's her name was later in the movie.
Angela White, played by Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah. I want to know, like, how much investigating did you do into this? Because if it's just me, of course people aren't going to believe me, especially because I'm a Black woman. It's not going to be no one's going to think that a Black woman saying something means that I'm more credible. They're going to say, why is she going against someone to succeed, Thurgood Marshall? So I don't know. Like, on one hand, I don't think comfort is a good enough reason to not do the right thing, because I think some of the bravest things that you can do to at least try to make some mark or some good change in society is going to require you to be uncomfortable. It's going to require you to be to be the villain unfairly, even. So yeah,
I agree with all of that. I'm not here to push you to do it. You got to want to do it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. I understand that it's hard to be.
I get that.
It's hard to do something like that, but I'm not going to force someone to do it. That person has to come to that realization in their own time, which is why victims of rape don't come forward.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, hard.
Can you imagine if you were subpoenaed on something like that? If you were raped, just to come, just so someone could force you to come speak. Like, I agree with you on that. Like, I wouldn't subpoena someone if they didn't want to do it. If anything, it's a way for someone to have to, like, make it easier for someone to come forward, which is like what I said, like making sure that you have other people who could share some of that spotlight with you, unfortunately. Right.
I mean, look, so here's a bit of interesting sort of like a 1-to-1 comparison. The woman who came out against Brett Kavanaugh saying that, like, quite literally she was sexually assaulted by him, right? She's had to move houses 4 times. 4 times. That was voluntary that she came up and did that. That wasn't like she wasn't subpoenaed and like forced to come out. She volunteered that information against this guy.
Right.
So it's a terrifying situation to be in for anyone, let alone a woman, let alone a Black woman.
Yeah.
Like, and it's wild because it's scary in 1991. I can't imagine the level of fucking fear that woman dealt with Brett Kavanaugh in the modern era. Because people are worse. They're far worse. The right wing is far worse now than they ever were in the 90s. Far worse. So, I don't take lightly Anita Hill's her courage there. And look, even her courage to talk about it on the record, to do the affidavit, is huge. Mm-hmm. Right? Let alone I mean, she's a bit naive to think that it wouldn't leak. Like, I'm like, nah, yo, you're crazy. You put your name down on that shit, somebody's throwing it out there. Look, they can't keep a Supreme Court opinion under wraps, right? Like, they're not going to keep your shit under wraps.
I'll say this as well, like, and this is just kind of like knowing from, obviously I have the privilege of knowing how this all turned out. But if she had said no and just stood her ground and be like, I'm not saying, I don't, like, let him get confirmed because I don't think my story is going to make a difference, I wouldn't have blamed her for that either.
No,
if she'd just been like,
no, you can't.
If she's been like, no, there's nothing you can say that's going to get me to speak on this. Like, no, I'm not testifying. I'm not doing any of that. If she had said like, nope, I would have been like, okay.
I mean, there's nothing you could do. Now, I mean, granted, the people who are calling her, that is their job, is to try to
of course.
try to knock this nomination down for obvious reasons. And I mean, I wish they had, but they were not successful.
And it's also like, it's just one thing. Like, it's also just knowing that for most people in that room, this is just all a political game. They're not really seeing you as a human being who went through a really traumatic experience, and then they're asking you to relive it again.
Yeah, boy, does that come up later when Biden asked her to keep repeating the thing. I'm like, yo, we got it.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's just at the end of the day, you're just your pawn and you're disposable.
Yeah.
To them.
Especially, and you're black. So like triple.
Yep.
That. So they pause the hearing in committee, and basically they're like, look, we need to pause this because now we have this information from this Anita Hill person. Anita goes to see her parents, and she's like, look, there's some horrendous shit you're going to hear in the news about me tomorrow, and I'm sorry for that. Like, and it's fucked up because she's saying it almost like it's her fault. You know what I mean? And it's like, nah, yo, you didn't do anything. Like, no, this dude is a piece of shit. Like, it's not your fault. Clarence tells his wife, like, hey, they got some woman that used to work for me saying I used to, I harass her sexually and all this other stuff. And she's like, well, is there any truth to that? He's like, no, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Ooh, no. Like, all right.
The shifty eyes.
Yeah.
Yo, the way that Jenny Thomas was being portrayed here, I was like, is she upset about this? Because it feels like Jenny Thomas back then would have been like, look, I don't care if you do that shit or not. We're going to say that bitch is lying. That black bitch is lying.
Oh, no, she definitely called her a black bitch right in front of Clarence Thomas. You know, she might even use the N-word. Clarence Thomas is like, say it again. I like that shit. like I'm telling you, dude, that guy is a dirty motherfucker.
Say it again with the shifty eyes or whatever.
Gross.
But like they like for a second, I was like, are they portraying her as like some put out, betrayed wife? Because I'm not feeling that shit at all.
Well, the only thing I get from Jeannie Thomas in this whole thing is like, when he gets nominated and the nomination's successful, she's like, it's good news. And she goes and hugs him or whatever. And he kind of gives her that look of like, yeah, we made it through. I kind of get this impression that she was like, yeah, you really did that shit. You know the person you married, yo.
Oh, I think she absolutely, the way she's portrayed in this movie, I think she absolutely knows he did it, but she's not worried about it because she's about to be married to a justice.
Right. So it's like,
and she's
what matters more?
Right.
The power or
my dignity.
Right. Like, fuck dignity. Let's get this money.
Right.
Get this
dignity
power.
Can't buy me a new house.
Right. Poor people have dignity. Rich people have 3-car garage. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here with that. But like, you know the type of person you married, yo. You know if he a crazy, I want to watch women fuck horses or whatever the fuck crazy shit he was into. You know what kind of man you married, yo. You know. Like a big titty woman. Like, stop talking about that shit, Clarence. Relax.
As soon as he was like, I call myself long dong silver. She was probably like, fuck, he said that to me too.
Yeah, you know he did, yo. You know he did. She was like, damn. It was like, damn, Anita got him dead to rights. Like, he definitely said that shit. He's sitting at home like, you motherfucker, you dirty, dirty motherfucker. Like, yeah, of course he did that shit. Get out of here. He tried those same lines on those women. He knows. So then we get like all these interspersed things, and I find this to be really fascinating, of these black people being like, Anita Hill is trying to snatch this nomination from black people and all this other stuff. And it is an interesting perspective, right? Like, you know that if this happened even in the modern era, like watching black people be divided on like, do we trust like, not only do we trust this person coming in and accusing this black man who's trying to get this high court position, but it's a black woman, right? And they talk about that, like, precisely because she's a black woman, people will push against her, even people who are black, to defend Clarence Thomas. And they won't believe it.
Like, it's not, I mean, he's not a Supreme Court justice or anything like that, but we just saw this shit with R. Kelly. Black women coming out and saying, like, this nigga did this, and it's multiple. Come on,
or
now.
Kevin Samuels.
You just saw it with a YouTuber, yo. Like, like this.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope everyone does.
This nigga just died up for no reason. You wouldn't believe how many people are just like,
like shocked.
See,
Like,
look at all these black women praising this black king's death. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all better have that same energy when Jada Pinkett dies. I'm like, what the fuck?
wow,
Really?
people are saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, she seems healthy. So
Kareem said that.
Oh, really? That guy was
What?
literally the last person in our class, like on the list.
Yeah, in terms of like intellectual scoring you intellectually, he was the dumbest nigga in our class, yo.
Yes, he was.
He was the dumbest person, and shit like that is why.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
when Jada Pinkett dies.
No, it is. You know what? It is so.
This is so random. Like,
no, but you know what though? It's
okay.
It's not, it doesn't surprise me because there are a lot of people
who
hate Jada Pinkett who blame her for the Will Smith thing, for how he acted. Will Smith is
these men. Look, Will Smith is his own man. Not to relitigate that. Will Smith is his own man. He's responsible for his actions. Also, as a side note, she's toxic as fuck, dude. She's yo.
It's all her fault. It is.
I didn't say all that. I didn't say all that. I didn't say all that. But yo, to pretend that Jada Pinkett ain't fucking crazy is naive. Like, it's naive.
You know, here you go. Signing with these Kevin Samuels.
Wait, whoa. So relax. Hold on. First off, I need to ask every male listener: is your dick big? Like, is that why you're not getting girls? Like, relax, Kevin. Relax.
He has to be like, is your dick big? Ain't you fat? And I'm like, yo, what is wrong?
Why
with
are these
you?
your first two questions, man? Like, what's wrong with you?
Now he's dead.
Shrug.
Hey.
Look, live long enough, or live well enough. I won't give the Batman quote, but live well enough that people aren't tap dancing on your fucking grave. If they are, you lived poorly. Like, that's it. You live poorly.
Only I gotta say, there are just a few people. I'm just waiting to see trending for exactly that reason.
Oh yeah, look, I people. You shouldn't tap dance on people's graves. Look, I hear you, but also me. Oh well, I don't care. Look, heaven didn't lose an angel. That guy made an entire career off of shitting on black women for no reason.
I would say this.
I'm glad he's gone. He could have left YouTube. He didn't have to die, but I'll take this too. I don't give a fuck.
I'm just gonna say we were also really close for a certain person that we're talking about as one of the subjects in this movie who was in the hospital for reasons, probably COVID. And we were this close to getting another vacancy. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, look, people ain't gonna be mad when he go either. They're not.
Nope.
He's not a good person. He's just not a good person. Be better. So then, everything is like in full swing at this point. Anita Hill Professor Anita Hill makes a statement at Oklahoma University. And like the Republican, they have like all the top Republicans who are watching this, and they're like, a lot of times when they make these, these statements, these first statements, that makes them look very cheap. And she gives her statement, and Olivia Pope is like, nah, yo, she don't look cheap to me. Like, she looks incredibly credible, right? Like she looks like no nonsense. And who don't like Kerry Washington, man? I'd believe it too. Incidentally, I believe Anita Hill because Clarence Thomas, again, is a dirty motherfucker. So they then are going to have they're going to have these hearings, and like Biden is desperately trying to sort of thread the needle here, which is the most Joe Biden thing about him, which is he is always trying to find the what does 51% of the population say? That is who he is as a president, that is who he has always been as a senator. And so he's trying, and he talks to Anita Hill, and he's like, hey, if I wasn't in the Senate, I'd be your lawyer myself. It's like, all right, Joe, we got it. You're very folksy. You're riding the Amtrak. We got it. But basically he's like, look, I need you to come up here and actually, testify. And she's asking, do you have any other witnesses? And he's like, well, we got you. So,
no,
I need you to come on up here. Come on, kiddo. But he does warn her, and he's honest about this. He's like, look, you're getting ready to walk into a shitstorm, and he's not wrong.
Yeah.
And it has been true for anybody who accuses any major politicians of anything, for the most part, except for Trump. That seems to be the only one that doesn't become a shitstorm. And I think it's just because there's so many women. It's like a wall of women accusing one person, so they can all kind of withstand it together, but they're all attacked as well. So from there, we see footage of George H.W. Bush basically saying, like, look, I support this guy 100%. Like, I'm not backing off my support, even though they're losing votes. They're losing votes from Republican senators.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I enjoy the this is just a sidebar. I enjoy the actual news footage of like old school news people. Well, newsmen.
There's a few news ladies.
Like Dan Rather and Peter Jennings and
that's what news was news, man.
It just takes me back to my youth, you know? Yeah. Like, you have no idea who those people are, do you? TR?
Who?
Peter
exactly.
Jennings. All right.
I know who Peter Jennings is. I know who Dan Rather is. Dan Rather is still alive.
Yeah, Dan Rather's still alive.
Dan Rather's on Twitter. That's where you know him from, right? Twitter.
She was like, oh, Dan Rather from Twitter. His whole career reduced to tweets.
I know who he is. I'm just saying.
He was damn near the Edward R. Morrow of our generation. And she's like, yeah, I follow him on Twitter. How fucking offensive is that? Yo? God damn.
He tweets a lot.
No, he does. He sends out some fire tweets, though. Like, he kind of
Yeah, well, he's a very smart man. He's got a lot to say. He used to fucking
be on the journalist. Yeah. He got railroaded. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I watched Peter Jennings slowly die during 9/11. It was one of the saddest things of all time. Yeah, like, look, it is like the real footage it makes it feel that much richer, which I thought was very cool. Also, people dressed terribly in the 90s. So we then see we see Ogletree, played by Jeffrey Wright, in my opinion, expertly, as he always is. He sort of starts this like bogus questioning of Anita Hill, and he's like, "Look, you didn't y'all ain't go out to dinner, like you ain't, go to a Christmas party, have a little too much eggnog, like one night, you ain't doing all of that." And she starts getting pissed, and she's like, no, I never did any of that. I don't know what the hell goes on up at, Cambridge, where you're from. I don't get sloppy. That's not who I am. And all of a sudden, and she starts just really fucking slamming. She's like, you don't know what sexual harassment is. And he's like playing it totally cool. And he goes, and she figures out, like, she recognized what he's doing. And she's like, oh, and it's going to be even worse tomorrow. Right? Like, he's just like, he's questioning her like they're going to question her. Not that he doesn't believe her. He does. But Jeffrey Wright is the coolest nigga in the room. Always, dude. He's so goddamn good. He is so good. And this is actually the moment that I texted you, Mike. I was like, yo, he is such a great fucking actor. And like, he just is. Like, he just, anything he is in, he just gives it 110%. It is awesome. So we fast forward a bit to Clarence Thomas kind of giving his opening statements to like combat what Anita Hill has said about him, right? This is where they switched the order. Anita Hill was originally supposed to give her statement first to kind of bring the charges of what she has to say about Clarence Thomas. But basically backroom shenanigans, they bullied Biden into being like, yo, you got to let Clarence Thomas speak. What the fuck? And so he did, which was a massive mistake and also a betrayal. In a lot of ways, he like really kind of fucked her entire case by starting it like that. And again, I don't think it was from malice. It was just, it was like, that's the like glad handing of the Senate. You're being too nice to your opposition, basically.
Right. He even said, well, I mean, at this point I would ask you a bunch of questions, but, I don't really know what the charges are now, so
fucked up.
have a nice day.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a real mistake. It was a huge fucking mistake.
Yeah, man. Like the guy who plays Jack Danforth said it later in the movie, man, and it amazes me that nothing has changed. He said, if we want to win, and if I see one of my guys in a fight for his life, I'm gonna come in there with a fucking crowbar, and we are gonna fight. And they've always had that mentality. They've always had that mentality. Yep. And we have always had the Joe Biden milquetoast, like go along to get along mentality, or something more extreme than that, right?
Which is pick up a crowbar even if there is no fight. And pick up a crowbar and then hit your own teammate. Nigga, I'm on your team.
Just do something, Democrats. Just do something, or else I won't vote.
Right. Like,
what?
That's it.
I just don't. Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You're not wearing the right
one
shoes.
Has learned anything.
Wow. Right.
No one has learned anything about how anything is run in this country. And it just is baffling to me, man. And this is somebody, I see it as a person who does not live and breathe this stuff. Right. Like as someone who is just aware of his surroundings. And it's so, all of you people who swear up and down that you are political scientists, you don't know shit.
They never do.
You don't know anything, man. And I just, you don't know anything, and you don't want to know anything, and you don't want to vote. Like it's literally the easiest thing you can do, and you don't want to do it. Like that person out in California, man, like I'm disgusted with them.
Yeah.
And I just, all right, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not doing anything. You're just bitching and complaining. That's all you're doing.
But also it's not even that they're just not doing anything. They scream about how their big joker is, I'm not going to do anything, as if like that's a real threat. And it's just like,
that doesn't take a vote. It doesn't take a vote.
Like if you don't do what I want exactly, I'm not going to do anything. And if you do a little bit of what I want, I'm still not going to do anything. It's just like, okay, so why are you here? What are you here for? You're wasting everyone's time, and you're fucking other people over.
Right.
You're being selfish.
I'm not going to do anything. The other side goes, great. It doesn't. Right. I don't understand. Do people not understand how voting works? Like when you don't vote, even though you're going to vote on the left, let's say, when you don't vote, it doesn't take a vote away from the right. They just go, cool. We had it was 2-2 going in, and now it's 2-1. Cool. We have more votes now. Like,
right.
Yo, math, my nigga. Like it's just basic math. Like that's it. You don't vote. That doesn't hurt the other side. That helps them.
Right.
So it's winner take all, guys. It's winner take all. That's quite literally how things work. So then Anita Hill gets up there. They bring her on, and she has to, in detail, she has to describe the things that Clarence Thomas did to her, which apparently, actually, let me pause. Ironically, let me pause that for a second. Biden interrupts her as she first starts, and he's like, "Hey, make sure we close the doors, and make sure we close the doors that nobody leaves or comes in and out of here." And then he kind of like winks at her, like, "Hey, like we just want to make sure everything is safe and secure for you." And it's like, it feels like, what was the point of that? But I think it's like him trying to be kind of like friendly to her, be like, "Hey, I'm on your side," kind of moment. But like, dude, you're kind of fucking her over at the same time by like changing the order, glad handing with these guys in the back. Like, Mike is 100% right. Nothing has changed. Like, you have to realize that there is a game to be played, but you guys aren't on the same team.
Right.
Like the other side will play dirty as fuck. Dude, play a little dirty. Like, it's okay. Like, Democrats, their biggest issue is that they respect the rules of the game.
Right.
Republicans don't respect the rules of the game.
They just change the rules.
They just change one, or they just ignore, right, or they just ignore the rules. Right? But the thing is, the rules of the game can be rewritten at any point. Right? Like that's the idea. Like, you're not like Democrats, you can still follow the rules, just tweak the rules a little bit. Like, do what they do, but do it better. Democrats know the law better than Republicans do. They absolutely do. Right. Like, it's only really elite Republicans that, like, fucking get anything that goes on in D.C. The rest of them are just a bunch of fucking bomb-throwing psychos. You think Marjorie Taylor Greene knows what the fuck is going on half the time? No. She's a lunatic. She doesn't know shit. You think Sarah Palin knew what the fuck was going on as she's running for vice president? That bitch didn't even read newspapers, right? Like, they don't know anything. But it's the Mitch McConnells and those guys, they absolutely know what's going on. But Democrats do know the law, but they don't want to change the law because they think like, oh, that feels unfair. Yo, you're bringing a knife to a bazooka fight. Like, what are you doing? Right. Change it up a little bit. It's fine. Oh, the public's going to be mad. The public's going to be even more mad if you don't do anything.
I mean, already, like, Mitch McConnell's already said, if, Republicans take back Congress, they're going to kill the filibuster just to do what a nationwide abortion ban or something like that, or whatever the fuck.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But basically, like how they're willing to do the things that I don't want to say hashtag all Democrats because it's really just two of them who won't play ball.
Right.
But yeah, agree with the general sentiment.
Yeah, and look, if people think they won't kill the filibuster to ban abortion, I feel like you don't know Republicans very well. They're going to do that shit on day one. Yep. Oh, yeah. You guys didn't do it? Weird. Well, guess what? We will. We don't give a fuck. Then they'll put it back if they're about to lose. Yeah. In 2 to 4 years. They'll be like, add it back, motherfucker. Anyway. Or they'll do a carve out just so they can kill that, and then they'll continue on. That's what they'll do. They don't give a fuck.
I'm feeling a tightness in my chest that I think I would have felt last week if I was on the preview episode, and I don't like this feeling because it feels like I'm going to have a stroke from the anger.
Yeah, it's called reality. That's what it is. That's what hurts. It's called reality, and people not giving a fuck because they're weak. They're weak. They are. This is like it's moral. It's a level of just moral weakness that you're not willing to fight. And when there is a time to fight, you just want to talk about fighting when it is not time to fight. And again, all you have to do is vote. You don't have to do nothing else. Also, it's easy. This is fucking easy.
Also, I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but you already know someone is going to say something. We're not talking with people who voted suppressed. We're talking with some of the people who
No, we're not. Of course. Don't be a fucking pedant. Don't be a pedant and come in here with that bullshit. We know if you can't vote, that's different. Talking about people who can and don't.
But if you see people online who are super pro-black or whatever, and they tell you that it's okay to not vote, and they just tell you, oh, we can organize instead, and they have this weird reaction, by weird I mean super negative reaction to voting, and they tell you it's okay, and then no one can shame you or bully you into voting, don't listen to those people.
Yeah,
and definitely don't, and also like don't listen to them, and definitely don't give them money. So if you see them like fundraising, don't give them a fucking dime.
No.
If at the end of the day they're going to be bitching about how we don't need to be voting.
Agreed. This episode is sponsored by Manscaped. Make sure you go to Manscaped. There you go. Make sure you go to manscaped.com. Use the code BLACK. To get 20% off and 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Look, you want to make sure that down there is looking better than it did the day before. You don't want to walk around as a half goat man like my co-host over here. So make sure you use the code BLACK for 20% off and free shipping. Look, the Lawnmower 4, as they call it, it's got a little light on it. Keep your shit together, man. Tiara, like you are a woman of the world. You don't when you go out on one of your Tinder dates, you don't want to end up with a guy who's got like Dr. Doom goat legs, as it were. Like you want to make sure this guy is got his shit together, right?
I want to make sure that he has his shit together. Because who knows what I may be into, and all I'm saying is, it is always better to be prepared. Not with the hands, Micah. Not with the hands.
You gotta be mad gentle. You don't do that. That ain't right. That is not right.
But if you look, let's say if you have a person friend who wants to explore you more intimately, orally, hey, I feel like Manscaped is probably something they should.
Yeah, like you don't want to go. You don't want to get you don't want to get down there and it's just like it's like the 1970s. It's not the play hair done live again. Like look, you don't need that. No one wants
to cough up a fur ball. Okay.
Right.
Ain't nobody trying to cough up a fur ball after this. But you said black and not blacked, right?
Relax. I said black. But at the same time, maybe I should have made it that. That's kind of funny. Now we'd probably get sued for that. No, which would be ironic. But yes, it's just black. BLACK. Thank you very much. Again, 20% off, worldwide shipping, and look, I'm not just we are not just pushing the product. We actually use it, and it is very good.
I am right now wearing a pair of the boxers that Manscaped sends you when you order their package at manscaped.com and use the code BLACK. They feel good. They feel real good. You get boxers, you get the Lawnmower 4.0, you get the ball toner, which is like ball deodorant. So
it smells nice. Like, it smells nice, actually.
It does actually.
It does.
Really does.
It does.
Like I was a bit surprised, man. You get the weed whacker for your ears and your nose, and yeah, man.
And when you become a man of a certain age, you need that more often than you'd like to really admit. To be honest, because it's a horrifying thing when you get older.
It's a really nice package. It's a really nice package that comes in a beautiful box. If you're a package whore, Manscaped does a really, really good job of like making their product feel like it's like you are investing in something special. So go to manscaped.com and use the code BLACK for 20% off and free worldwide shipping.
Get your package to fix your package. Okay. So, back to the movie. Anita Hill gets up there. She's like, look, this guy made me do, or like made me listen to some like pretty depraved shit, right? Like he was like, fucking use this code for 20% off. Look at my balls. Like all of this. It's pretty wild. Apparently he liked to talk about long dong silver. He apparently is into bestiality porn. Again, a dirty motherfucker Clarence Thomas is. Like, I wish they had cut to a scene of like, just like a double exposure of him like doing that in the background. Like, apparently he was obsessed with big titty ladies. That is his kink. Look. I mean, we're Clarence Thomas ain't all bad. He ain't all bad. I get it, nigga. I get it. So yeah, she has to relay all of this, which is fucking weird. And like to imagine that again happening in the modern era, like in the era of Twitter, where some people are just live tweeting it and like, yo, she just said long dong silver, my nigga. Like, which is like animated GIFs coming after that would just be hilarious. But Republicans are just like start like losing votes from senators. They're like, yo, I'm not trying to hear this shit. Get this guy the fuck out of here.
That was okay. That was something I wanted to mention earlier. This movie definitely shows something that is not apparent today. Republicans, they don't give a fuck. She could have said all of this, and they would still be like, look, Lindsey Graham would have been like, look, I understand. Like he called himself Long Dong Silver, but what other young man has to call himself Long Dong Silver? I think that's just a pill of masculinity. So he still got my vote.
Oh yeah,
that's a real porn star, by the way. That's a real porn star. Long Dong Silver.
God, what?
That's a real porn star.
Yeah, Googling.
All right.
Googling.
But the fact that there was still some sort of slight decency 30 years ago, and you still have a lot of these same folks still around today.
He's a British black dude.
Come
on.
What
Yo,
did
his
you do,
picture is
Micah?
hilarious.
No, that Jay looked up Long Dong Silver. That's
Yeah.
a real dude.
Like if you Google Long Dong Silver porn, like there's just a picture of his face, and he kind of looks like Terrence, like, which is kind of hilarious.
See, that's why Terrence got that. That's where that magnetism that Terrence has. That je ne sais quoi.
See, you see it. You see it. Yo, he kind of looks like him. Yo, he kind of does. He kind of looks like him. Yo, that's hilarious. Turns out a lot of people don't know this. Terrence, British black man. Apparently, I don't know. I have not watched his videos, but I would assume he's got a giant dick. That's hilarious.
I'm looking at a photo of
relax.
Relax.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna make it so we can't monetize this video. Yo, relax. Relax.
I mean, long is. I mean, that's certainly a word for it. It is certainly very long. The other thing y'all mentioned, the resemblance is
Yeah, that's wild, yo.
All right.
Yeah, that's wild.
Can we
No, we're not gonna pause the episode.
Clarence Thomas thought he was that guy.
Clarence Thomas was knocking it down back in the day. Y'all know.
Oh, Jesus. No.
He's talking about his prowess. Gross. So yeah, like Clarence Thomas is out there, like he's got to explain this shit to his son, right? He had to go home, talk to Jamal about why Dad used to call himself Long Dong Silver. Like, first off, son,
How embarrassing.
that's pretty embarrassing because his son looks like he's about like 15 or 16 years old. He is old enough to know that this is not okay. Like
That is God.
And like Clarence is talking to his wife, and he's like, I gotta say this vile stuff. No father should have to tell his son this and all this other stuff. And here's Jeannie Thomas, she crying or whatever, but I feel like she's like, but you called yourself Long Dong Silver in front of me like 4 times before. Like you kept yelling "Hi Ho Silver" last night during back shots. I'm just saying, like, like nigga, maybe you get it. Which is gross because I don't like to think of the two of them having sex ever. I'd rather throw myself down a well. But we see this scene, and I think it's actually the best scene, and of the movie, which is Ogletree, played by Jeffrey Wright, is talking to Anita Hill after Clarence Thomas goes out there, and he's like, look, on primetime television, he goes out and says, like, look, this is nothing but a high-tech lynching. What you guys are doing to me, you pieces of shit. How dare you judge me, right? And it's a powerful moment, right? Like, Wendell Pierce plays it so well that I'm like, damn, they like, yeah, fuck y'all. Like, Wendell Pierce is right, right? Like Micah said, like, you start to forget that, oh, right, he's Clarence Thomas. He is a dirtbag. Because
what he's saying, he's basically saying, like imagine him saying this, like the way he's delivering this, it's like not all black people, right? Like this same speech could be used in defense of in defense of a black man being accused of something he didn't do,
right?
As it relates to like a racial thing, right? Like look at all the black victims who are victims of an unjust criminal, system. You know what I mean? Like this exact same speech could be used, and it's fucking powerful. And then you realize, wait a minute, he's talking about, but he's not being accused of, some crime, or he's not being accused because of his race. He's being accused because of his actions.
Right.
Like I don't know if I'm saying
against another black person, right? Against another black person, which is also incredibly important.
It's incredibly shrewd, and it's incredibly smart. It's an incredibly smart tactic to use.
Yeah.
It's the best scene in the movie.
It is.
And
it is.
and he played those white people. He played them for their racism and white guilt. He played off of their racism and white guilt at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
But he did, which is fucking awesome. But he did it to disparage a black woman because he fucked her over. Like, let's not forget that, right? Like that's the root of all this, is that a powerful black man is putting down a black woman who was his subordinate, and he's getting away with it. And like, it's easy to miss that. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, and that was not about, that's the point. Right. Which is like, I don't like it, but goddamn, I respect it. Like he knows how to play that game. He knows that politics is all a game, and he knows how to play it. And that was an excellent play. Like if we had like black people fucking calling play-by-play on that shit, I mean, it would be like that Joe Rogan meme, or just like, oh shit.
Yeah, it is literally a defense that there is no weapon against, right? Like. Right. He's or an offensive move, really, right? It feels defensive, but it's actually an offensive move. He nullifies white people's ability. He nullifies Democrats' ability to go after him for what he's legitimately being accused of, because it looks like they're attacking him because he's black. Right. He nullifies Anita Hill's argument because he's like, look, this is just some chick. Like, she's being put up, like, he's using white people both ways, like you said, right? Because he's saying, white people, you can't attack me. Like, no matter what I do at this point, I'm protected against you. I'm also using her being associated with you as a way to stop her, because then it's like, well, she was put up by white people to attack me. Thus, I'm still protected by what I said about, that I protected myself from white people's bullshit to begin with. Like, Ogletree's point is so profound. He told a truth. He didn't say he told the truth. He said he told a truth. And it's like, he's absolutely right. And he goes, I like that he said it. I like what he said, but I hate that it was him who said it. And that's such a great point. And he gets to the exact heart of the matter of that entire case in that hallway conversation between the two of them. Because he says, he is attacking you in this way precisely because you are a black woman. Because he knows that white people don't want to get in the middle of that shit. They don't. They're up. Two black people? Nope. We're out. We're done. We can't attack you for the shit that we want to attack you with. Oh, now it's between the two of y'all, and that's it? Fuck that. We're done. Look, those white men already don't give a fuck about sexual harassment. They already don't care. Now it's between two black people. They give even less of a fuck if that was even possible. Right? So it's a fantastic scene. And look, to Clarence Thomas's credit, man, he played that in a way that is remarkable. Like, it's remarkable.
Yeah.
So, what the fuck was? What could they have done? Like, I know people like to talk about this, like, oh, they could have taken him down. Yo, what could you have done? Like, an all-white Senate like that? What could they have done? Nothing.
Oh yeah, yeah. What could you have done to counter that for the guy you are nominated to replace another black Supreme Court?
Right, because that's another aspect to it. It's a huge aspect to it. Like, what is?
And they quickly cut to like news pundits, and who ran with it, right? Like it was over. Right, like that was it. Like, oh, this nigga just hooked us up with all the best talking points, right? Like,
yeah, they did.
Like, it played it. I mean, it. I don't want to give that nigga credit, yo, because I think that nigga is the bane of black existence. But goddamn it, like that was a power move, man. It really was. Jesus Christ.
And that look, I mean,
could you imagine if he was on our side, like black people's side, like not my side politically, but like on the side of black people.
Like using your power, using your evil powers for good. Yeah, it would be cool.
Using your marginalized status for good.
Yeah,
like the FBI when they hire the criminals that hack FBI databases and shit. Like, oh shit, like, no, we gotta get you on our team. Hack, other people.
Yeah, you too good for this shit. Right. So it is interesting. So then they get word, Biden's office gets word that there is another woman, Angela Wright, played by Jennifer Hudson, who doesn't even sing in this movie. And gosh, she's so good looking. She's like, look, like she's the exact opposite of Anita Hill. Anita Hill's like, well, these things happen. Angela Wright is like, this nigga talked about my titties. Like, what the fuck? Like, she was just so straightforward. This shit was hilarious. Like, he was talking about my big ass. I'm like, all right. I mean, again, Clarence Thomas ain't all wrong, my nigga. Like, I get it. But like, so she's like ready to fucking get up there, like, I want to rip this guy's fucking throat out on television, basically. But she was fired. And so they're going to try to paint her as like being this disgruntled ex-employee. So they have her come down to DC and she's like ready to go. And they decide that they don't want to bring her up. Because then the Republicans are like, hey, we got these college students that used to, be Anita Hill's college students, and they're saying that she put pubes in their term papers. But like, it's just college. It's just like college kid bullshit because they had already heard about the pubes on a Coke can thing from the case, right. So they just made that up. And the Republicans are like, well, we don't know if that's not true or if it's false. Right. So like, who knows? So if you bring up this Angela Wright person, we're gonna bring this up. Which I would argue, bring it up, motherfucker. Like, I'd be like, here's a credible witness. You got a bunch of dumbass college kids.
Yeah. And that's just also like a sign that how things haven't really changed, because Republicans will totally do that right now.
Yeah, because they want to win. Like, and look, that's some underhanded ass shit, right? Right. But you got to call that bluff sometimes, man. You got to. Yeah. You got to call that bluff. You're not doing the wrong thing. Like, right. Don't make them like call them on their bullshit, because that's all it is, man. Call them on their bullshit. Like the fact that you're too scared to call them on their bullshit, that's what pisses people off. Democrats. Right. Like it's one thing to want to play by the rules, but you're standing by while they're cheating and you're not doing anything about it.
Right.
What? Right.
Yeah, in the things that you can do, right? Like you can call it out. Just call it out. Just call it out. Like it's interesting to see like this version of Democrats and Republicans like battling back and forth, because the world has changed considerably, right? Like there are a lot of Democrats who will fucking call shit out, but there's not, the vast majority of them will not, right? So you've got like your like the squad, and you've got like other people on the Democratic side who will be like, yo, these guys are bullshit. Like they will say it, but it's not enough of them, right? It's like 12
They're not
of them.
a unified front, though. They're not a unified front.
And that's the problem. And part of it is just age.
Are quick to form Voltron, man. Republicans are quick to just fucking, and I'll form the head. Like they are ready to mount up.
It's age, and it's also just how diversified Congress has gotten over the years. Because it's like I mentioned earlier, like civility is the thing that they pride most over than actually making progress. And civility is really just a way to keep white supremacy around, to avoid really dealing with it head on. And I think you have more Democrats like the squad, like I said, the Democrats on United Front, but you have more progressive Democrats who are mostly people of color who are like, fuck civility. Like, this person is a traitor. This person is an abuser, whatever. We need to call it out, call a spade a spade.
Yeah. Civility is the band playing while the Titanic is going down.
Yeah.
Fuck that band, yo. like, get the fuck out of here, yo.
Look, to quote, to paraphrase Steve Harvey, if that was Kool in the Gang, they would have been like, nah, we getting the fuck out of here. You wouldn't have they're not just gonna go down with the ship. Like, get the fuck, wrap that shit up, let's go. Like, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. So, Yeah, no, that's actually a really good point. Like, you are literally just playing us off into disaster. Fight. Well, I don't want to say anything mean. It might hurt their feelings.
And if you lose,
they're pushing us into the gulags, my nigga. Like,
right.
Punch back. Just punch back. Like, I don't like when people make the arguments of like Democrats should behave like fascists or Democrats should behave like they want a king. I don't want Joe Biden to be a king. I want you to follow the fucking laws. The laws are there for a reason. I want you to fight back when you can and fight back the ways that work. Don't just stand there. Like you said, don't just stand there and let them cheat and not say anything. That's stupid. That's stupid. Like one of the, like on our latest episode of Look Forward, I talked about like we make the argument like in the center and on the center left, like we make the argument about like protecting Roe v. Wade poorly. We talk about, oh, it's about women's rights and body autonomy and stuff like that. And it is about those things. But we never talk about it in the way that people will generally understand, which is none of this shit makes any fucking sense what they're pushing. Banning condoms and birth control makes sense, but you also want people to stop having abortions? Why are you trying to get people to have more kids that they don't want? How does that make sense? Start attacking it that way. But they want to, they play the nice, oh, we got to say it nicely. Stop saying it nicely. Be
also,
honest.
isn't this the same party that's like we don't want the government in our business?
Oh. They want to shrink the government. Republicans would like to shrink the government down to the size that they can fit directly in a woman's uterus. So looks like they're successful.
There you have it.
Yeah. So now Anita Hill is her credibility is being slowly destroyed now because they don't have this second woman, Angela Wright, testifying. They're saying that like she's scared to testify. Meanwhile, Angela Wright, like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm right here. So this is like the Biden office fucking her over and thus fucking over Anita Hill. Because I think if Angela Wright had testified, especially if she was anything like how Jennifer Hudson portrayed her, I think Clarence Thomas would have been done. Like, two women who don't know each other with the same fucking story, you're in a world of trouble, dude. Like, you are in a world of trouble. In the 90s. If this was the modern era, Clarence Thomas could literally be on video kicking a fucking kid in the head and they wouldn't give a shit. Like, that kid probably had it coming. So, you know, after that, basically, Anita Hill refuses to testify anymore. Clarence Thomas refuses to testify anymore. And you just see all of these people going, well, we have the votes, right? There was one guy who came forth and was like, yo, I work at the video store that Clarence Thomas comes to, and I've got all his lists of movies he's rented. He's rented a bunch of hardcore pornography. Not that really proves anything, but it certainly would be used against him, I'm sure. And I'm sure a Long Dong Silver video is in there. Just saying. Probably. Can't trust the niggas at Blockbuster with your shit. And so we kind of find out, like, basically that Clarence Thomas, his nomination sails through. October 15th, Dan Quayle calls it, and it's like 52-48, I think. So there you go. And the rest is literally Tiara's entire life.
Yeah.
The movie tries to end on a happy note, saying, you know, like this spurred women to, like, an unprecedented amount of women were, you know, elected in various positions and stuff like that. And which is great.
True.
Right?
That is true.
Like if there is one thing that can come from the, and look, I know I was trying to make the point of, like, you shouldn't force people you can't force somebody to be a hero. I'm glad she ended up doing it. I am. I'm really glad that she ended up doing it because she did help. That might have undercut literally everything I said earlier, but I still believe it. But I'm glad that she did. And, you know, it led to many positive things that, you know, people still ignore, but,
yes, they do.
Like, okay, like, just don't talk to people at work, yo. Just be like me and don't talk to anybody at work because I don't want to talk to you. You shouldn't want to talk to me. I'm here to do a job. Let's fucking do it.
We're all a family.
I don't need to
no,
hang
we're not.
out.
No, we're
I don't
not.
need to hang out. Well, where do you meet people? You meet them at work. No, you don't. You meet them online. It's 2022, for God's sakes.
I mean, he's
Leave
not
people
wrong.
alone.
Okay.
He's not wrong.
God
He's not
damn.
wrong. Leave people alone. The one thing I will say that is also very interesting about this is this notion of like the pseudo happy ending of like all these women start to run for the Senate and the House, and it's like an unprecedented amount of women actually win seats. Dianne Feinstein being one of them, and she's still fucking there, and she just refuses to leave. Just go home, Dianne. But all of that being said, and there's a bunch of legislation that passes and things like that. Let this right here be a lesson that in the face of tragedy and loss of a Supreme Court justice that should definitely should not have happened, people rallied. And they didn't just stand by and cross their arms. Those women didn't just cross their arms and say, I'm done. They didn't do the fucking bullshit. I'm done. Like, there's nothing left for me to do. They fought back. And they gained those seats. And they got legislation passed. That's what your fucking answer should be to what's happening right now. It shouldn't be to give up. It should be to get off your fucking laurels and go vote. And try. Again, you don't have to run for office. You can if you want to. And I wish you luck if you have the right fucking policies. But you can just vote. You can try. You can fight back. This is like the easiest type of fighting there is. Like, just vote. So, yeah, those women fought back and they made differences. And we can do the same. So, look, you pissed off at Roe v. Wade. You should be. You're going to be pissed off at Obergefell when they kill that for same-sex marriage. You should be pissed. You're going to be pissed when they kill Loving versus Virginia. You should be pissed. And that's not an exaggeration. That is 100% going to happen. It is. Because it has to happen for the way that they're writing this fucking opinion. So if you're pissed off at all of those things, you should be mad. Go vote. Go vote. And get the shit passed and codified. And maybe that'll help. All right. That's it for us. This is episode 222 for confirmation. We'll be back next week for a preview episode for episode 223. Later, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of Black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the Black community.